The Milton Model is a collection of language patterns, a collection of language structures that are incredibly powerful. You can take ideas out of your head, wrap them in the Milton Model language patterns, slide them into somebody else's head, and they will believe those ideas are their own. The reason this works so well is the whole purpose of communication is to persuade other people. The whole reason we evolved language was to get the ideas out of our head and put them into somebody else's head and change other people's behavior, change other people's desires, change what other people think. That's the purpose of communication. And the Milton Model allows you to do this with much more effectiveness, to hypnotically put your ideas inside their head unconsciously, so they will discover these ideas inside their head and believe they are their own, which means they will act on those ideas, since we all love our own ideas, and there will be little resistance. That being said, the way most people use the Milton Model, it significantly reduces their effectiveness. And we can understand this by looking at how Erickson, Dr. Milton Erickson, the inventor of the Milton Model, how he used these patterns. In a therapeutic setting, both the patient and the doctor both know what the patient wants. It's overt, it's conscious. They've had a problem for a long time. They really want to solve this problem. So they come see this famous hypnotist. They want to be hypnotized. They want to tell them their problems, and they want the hypnotist to hypnotize the patient so they can overcome their problems. This is a completely overt process. So essentially what Erickson did was he took the desires outside of the mind of the patient, the desires and the associated issues with those desires, then he took those and wrapped those with the Milton Model and put them back in their head. He took the desires from their head, the associated problems with those desires, the things keeping them from getting those desires, wrapped that with the Milton Model, and then hypnotically put that back inside the patient's head. Then they would go home and poof, their problems were solved. The way people use the Milton Model out in the world for sales or seduction or persuasion is taking their own ideas, wrapping them in the Milton Model, and putting them into the head of the other person. This works fantastically. But Erickson's version works much better. He takes the ideas out of their head, wraps the Milton Model in those ideas, and puts their own ideas back into their own head. And if you use the Milton Model this way, it will be a cajillion times more effective, but not in the way that seems logical or intuitive. This is a very counterintuitive way to use the Milton Model. To first elicit the desires from the person you're talking to. Find out what they want. Find out what's important to them. Find out what they dream about becoming one day. Find out their ideal future. And then take all those ideas, wrap them in the Milton Model, and then put them back inside their head. When this happens, this is when the non-intuitive persuasive magic happens. Imagine a super gorgeous sales girl. Head swimmingly gorgeous, mouth wateringly gorgeous, boner-inducingly gorgeous. So gorgeous you look at her and you can barely speak because she's so gorgeous. And she's intelligent, and she's friendly, and she's articulate. This type of salesperson doesn't really need any kind of sales game. They just need to talk to the customer, find out a little bit about what the customer wants, and say, hey, I think you should buy this. And that would work better than any kind of practiced, normal-looking salesperson with advanced sales game. And this is exactly what will happen when you use the Milton Model around their desires. Because the salesperson, the gorgeous salesperson, is so effective because she has a massive halo effect. Everything she says seems fantastic. Everything she recommends seems fantastic. But when you take the desires out of somebody's head and wrap them in the Milton Model and then put them back inside their head, hypnotically sneak them back inside their head, it will create a custom-built, hypnotically induced halo effect around them through which they see the entire world, including you, and any suggestions. So once you do that, Once you elicit their desires, once you build up their desires and their dreams, and then feed them back to them wrapped in the Milton Model language patterns, they will see the world through this massive halo effect, including you. And so all you need to do is just say, hey, what do you think about this? Because while you're doing that, while you're eliciting their desires, while you're finding out what they want, you'll start to think of things that will help them satisfy their desires. Not only that, but when you elicit their desires, you'll think of ways they can satisfy their desires while satisfying your desires, creating a mutually beneficial outcome. And you can just toss that suggestion in there, and they will see that through the halo effect and think, hey, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard. And that is how you persuade people. That is how you seduce people using the Milton Model language patterns. So now the question is, how do you become conversationally fluent with the Milton Model? How can you use these patterns in daily conversations? Well, the easiest way is just to write the patterns out every day. There's about 50 specific patterns. These are linguistic structures, kind of like scaffolding that you need to put content in for them to make any sense. And so the best way to do this is to choose some content, choose some beliefs that you would like to believe to be true about yourself. Like, you are confident, you are seductive, you are intelligent, you are extroverted and outgoing. People love talking to you. And take these content ideas, these belief ideas, and wrap them with the Milton Model patterns and just write them out every day. If you do this, a couple of things will happen. First, you'll start to believe these things on a subconscious level, which will affect your behavior. And two, you will become conversationally fluent with the Milton Model. And when you become conversationally fluent with the Milton Model, you'll just need to talk to people. You'll just need to elicit their desires. You'll just need to find out what's important to other people, and you'll naturally, without thinking, unconsciously start to feed back their desires to them, wrapped in the Milton Model language patterns, and that will make you a naturally persuasive, naturally charismatic conversationalist. So start writing the patterns out. It takes maybe 20, 30 minutes per day. And if you do this every day, you will become a social, charismatic, conversational, naturally persuasive, naturally seductive superhero. If you'd like to learn more about how to significantly improve your conversational skills, check out the links below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time.